The lie wrapped in virtue. From the first stories we're told, we learn to believe in a particular kind of man, the good man. He is selfless, honest, loyal, compassionate. He plays fair. He follows the rules. He does the right thing, even when it's hard. And if he does all that, the world will reward him. He'll be respected, loved, and successful. It's a comforting narrative, one that appeals to our ideals and flatters our sense of morality. But what if it's a lie? Niccolò Machiavelli, the often misunderstood political philosopher of the Italian Renaissance, would tell you it is. He'd say the good man that society trains you to be isn't just ill-equipped for the real world, he's dangerously naive. Machiavelli didn't believe in the fairy tale version of virtue. He didn't think morality, by itself, was a path to power or protection. In fact, he thought clinging to moral ideals in the wrong context could lead to your ruin. This video explores what Machiavelli reveals about the myth of the good man and why it fails in a world governed by self-interest, conflict, and the pursuit of power. We'll break down his concept of virtù, his view of human nature, and his warnings to those who try to live in idealism rather than realism. More importantly, we'll explore what it means in our world, where being good is often not enough, and where moral clarity must be paired with strategic strength. 1. The manufactured ideal, where the myth comes from. The myth of the good man is deeply embedded in Western thought, shaped primarily by Judeo-Christian morality and Enlightenment humanism. From biblical figures like Jesus, who preaches love and forgiveness, to the modern cultural ideal of the responsible, humble, self-sacrificing man, we are taught that goodness is a fixed, recognizable moral code. It means being honest, generous, patient, merciful, and modest. It means always doing the right thing, no matter the personal cost. The message is everywhere, in parenting advice, classroom rules, media narratives, and religious sermons. Goodness is marketed as a virtue that protects you. If you're good, you'll be safe. If you're honest, you'll be trusted. If you work hard and don't cause trouble, the system will reward you. People who fail, we're told, must have lacked character or tried to cheat the system. Machiavelli rejected this with brutal clarity. He saw that the systems of power, especially in politics, didn't reward moral behavior, they rewarded results. The good man might win admiration, but admiration doesn't protect you from betrayal. A society that teaches its citizens to be virtuous in a world that punishes virtue is not moral, it's delusional. And those who follow that script without question become cannon fodder for those who are willing to play the real game. 2. Machiavelli's challenge: morality without power is powerless. Machiavelli's central argument in The Prince is not that morality is bad, it's that morality, in isolation, is useless in politics. He draws a clear line between private virtue, personal integrity, Christian humility, and political effectiveness. A good ruler, or a good leader of any kind, cannot always afford to act morally. He must know how to bend the rules, manipulate appearances, and act decisively, even cruelly, if that's what survival and stability demand. To illustrate this, Machiavelli offers historical examples of men who clung to their ideals and lost everything. One of the most striking is Girolamo Savonarola, a preacher in Florence who tried to lead through religious purity and high moral ground. His refusal to compromise or use force led to his downfall. Machiavelli concludes, he came to ruin with all his new orders, since he did not know how to secure himself with arms, or how to hold his supporters firm, or how to make the incredulous believe. Machiavelli is not suggesting leaders abandon all morality, far from it. He argues they must appear moral, even embody it when possible, but never become prisoners to it. A truly effective leader must know how to choose between good and evil depending on the situation. If morality serves your aims, use it. If it doesn't, discard it. That cold realism isn't villainy, it's survival. 3. Virtù, a new kind of strength. Instead of the traditional moral virtues, Machiavelli introduces virtù, a flexible, strategic quality that blends courage, cunning, strength, and adaptability. Virtù is not goodness. It's control. It's the ability to shape outcomes, manipulate perception, and maintain stability in a chaotic world. It is neither bound by morality nor completely opposed to it. It is indifferent to it. A prince with virtù knows when to be feared and when to be loved. He knows that excessive mercy can lead to chaos, and excessive generosity can drain his resources and invite contempt. Therefore, he balances appearances with effectiveness. He adapts to fortune and force, improvising as the situation requires. Virtù is not about being right, it's about being effective. The brilliance of virtù is that it shifts the conversation from "is this right or wrong" to "does this work, and for whom?" It demands a view of the world that is strategic, not sentimental. For Machiavelli, the world doesn't run on idealism, it runs on force, persuasion, and the will to act. The good man, trained to avoid conflict and trust the system, has no defense in such a world. The man with virtù does. 4. Human nature, a dangerous terrain. At the heart of Machiavelli's realism is a dark but accurate view of human nature. In The Prince, he writes, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, and deceivers. They shun danger and are greedy for gain." While this sounds cynical, it's more accurate to call it empirical. Machiavelli observed the political and personal behavior of men under pressure, and he saw that self-interest, fear, and ambition almost always triumphed over morality. This understanding explains why a good man, acting purely on principle, is likely to be betrayed. If you assume people will treat you with fairness just because you are fair, you are vulnerable. If you assume loyalty, transparency, and gratitude are the default, you will be disappointed. Machiavelli's warning is that you should never bet on others to act out of decency, only out of advantage. For Machiavelli, this doesn't mean we should become misanthropes, it means we must be prepared. We must understand how people really behave in order to protect ourselves and achieve anything worthwhile. Only then can we act wisely, with both caution and power. The good man expects good from others. The Machiavellian knows that hope alone is not a strategy. 5. Morality works, but only in the right system. Machiavelli was not entirely against morality. In Discourses on Livy, he shows admiration for the Roman Republic and the power of civic virtue, when it is embedded in institutions that enforce accountability. He believed that in a healthy republic, where laws, debate, and balance of power exist, moral behavior can thrive. But that environment is fragile. And even there, virtue is necessary. Republics succeed when their citizens are alert, engaged, and courageous. They must defend their liberties, resist corruption, and hold their leaders accountable. In such a setting, moral ideals are not only relevant, they're essential. But they are still not enough. Even in republics, Machiavelli argues, decay sets in when people become complacent, when they trust too easily or fail to act boldly in times of crisis. This tells us that context matters. Morality works only when it is backed by power and protected by structure. Outside of that, under tyrannies, in broken democracies, in corrupt institutions, moral idealism becomes a liability. That's why Machiavelli's message is not anti-morality. It's anti-complacency. 6. Modern reflections. The good man still gets burned. Machiavelli's world may have been Renaissance Italy, but the myth he exposes lives on. In politics today, we see idealistic reformers punished for playing fair in a rigged game. In corporate life, ethical workers get passed over while self-promoters rise. In activism, those who refuse to play dirty often watch their movements get co-opted or crushed. The myth of the good man tells us that if we just do the right thing, everything will work out. But Machiavelli knew that people lie. Systems protect power. Influence is often won through perception, not substance. Being good and strategic is powerful. Being just good is dangerous. In personal relationships, too, we see this. People raised to be agreeable, kind, and accommodating often find themselves burned out, taken advantage of, or overlooked. They assume others will value their virtue. But Machiavelli teaches, if you do not protect yourself, no one else will. The world does not reward quiet goodness. It rewards virtue. 7. The case of Soderini, goodness without teeth. One of Machiavelli's most telling examples is Piero Soderini, a leader of the Florentine Republic. Soderini was honest, well-meaning, and deeply committed to fairness. But he was indecisive and too merciful. He refused to punish his enemies or act boldly against threats. In time, the Medici returned to power, and Soderini was exiled. His goodness achieved nothing. His virtue wasn't enough. Machiavelli was once Soderini's supporter. But in retrospect, he saw Soderini's failure as a textbook example of the myth of the good man. The problem wasn't that Soderini lacked values. It's that he lacked virtù, the capacity to use force, deception, or political skill when necessary. His decency became a trap. He lost the game because he didn't understand the rules. This lesson echoes today. Well-intentioned leaders, if they cannot confront power or make hard decisions, may end up accomplishing less than those who are morally grey but strategically effective. Morality without strength becomes ornamental, nice to have, but easy to ignore. 8. Breaking the myth. What real strength looks like. Machiavelli doesn't want you to become cruel. He wants you to become clear-eyed. His call is not for nihilism but for wisdom. Know the world as it is, not as you wish it were. To survive, to lead, to make an impact, you need more than virtue. You need virtù, the skill, courage, and will to act when morality isn't enough. This doesn't mean abandoning values. It means learning to protect them. It means knowing when to compromise and when to draw a line. It means being prepared for betrayal and being strong enough to respond. True virtue isn't about staying pure, it's about staying effective without losing your core. Breaking the myth means growing up, politically and personally. It means realizing that being good is not a shield. The world isn't waiting to reward your decency. It's indifferent. That's why the good man must become the wise man, the one who knows that survival and justice are not opposites, but allies. Conclusion: from good to great, with eyes wide open. Machiavelli wasn't a monster. He was a realist who wanted to empower people to survive and succeed in a harsh world. He saw too many decent men destroyed not by evil, but by illusions. The myth of the good man may comfort us, but it doesn't protect us. It tells us that goodness will prevail, when often it doesn't. To truly live with purpose, you must be more than good. You must be strong, alert, and strategic. You must understand power, master perception, and know when to bend or break the rules. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. That's not corruption, it's clarity. So don't throw away your values. Just stop expecting them to carry you alone. Be more than the man society trained you to be. Be someone who knows the world, plays it smart, and still chooses to do what's right, when it counts and when it matters.